This episode of Titan Talk is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Know a podcast fan? Tweaked Audio headphones make the perfect gift. For awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, plus free shipping and a lifetime warranty. You can also get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Titans, go!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Titan Talk, the Titans podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs, back in Titans Tower once again with my favorite Titan Talker, everybody's favorite Titan Talker, Jesse Jackson.
Hello, Charles. Happy Titan Talk Day. I'm excited to talk about this latest episode.
Sunday is Titan Talk Day.
Sunday is Titan Talk Day. If we had better football teams to cheer, we would say this is football Sunday. But You and I both are fighting problems.
Well, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm used to problems, unfortunately. So, problems is the Cleveland Browns name. So,
after
I'm used to
years,
so it's not something I'm unaccustomed to. Yes. But you, for the Dallas Cowboys.
For the past 20 years has been that sucky too. So
not as bad as the Browns though.
No,
Nobody's as bad as the Browns. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So, but no, we're not going to talk about NFL today. We're going to talk about the Titans episode together today here on Titan Talk episode 12. We're going to talk about episode 5 from Titans' first season that just aired a couple days ago on November 9th. 2018. Sorry, I've been time traveling again. And written by Brian Edward Hill, who is known recently for comics writing for DC Comics. He's written a recent run of Detective Comics, and he's going to be writing the upcoming Batman and the Outsiders revival for DC Comics. So I'm very looking forward to that because I think he's a pretty decent writer. And then Gabrielle Stanton as well co-wrote the episode. She's been on written episodes of The Flash, so she has some Berlanti-verse connections with her.
I truly don't understand. Normally, you have a writer's room.
Yeah.
They kind of break down the story, and then they assign it to someone to write. It appears the Titans are trying to set a record for the most writers, because it's got Brian Edward Hill, Jeff Johns, and Gabrielle Stanton as written by on the credits.
You know what I think happened here with that, since you brought it up?
Yeah.
I think there was such a demand for a quick turnaround with Titans.
Yes.
And so to kind of speed things up, they farmed it out to several writers.
Okay.
And to get all the scripts in as soon as possible. That's my take. And I've noticed there were some episodes that were announced in a certain order, and some of these episodes are kind of being reworked. Like Doom Patrol was supposed to be originally episode 5. It was now episode 4 in the final product. Together, I think, wasn't supposed to happen until episode 6 or 7, and now here it is at episode 5. So there's some reshuffling going on.
So it could be
now it could be just because some of the scripts came in sooner than others.
Yeah. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, during his Good Vibrations, Smiley Smile period, he would record different phases of songs and then put them together the way you do a mosaic. So maybe that's what they've done on this. They've filmed and then they've gone back. Okay, well let's re-edit this and pull something from here.
This would work better if it was earlier here. Yeah, well, so sometimes I know that from previous history that Doctor Who has done that.
Sure.
Especially in the classic area, they used to kind of juggle episodes around a lot, before the final release.
Yes.
So it's not unheard of by any means.
Good.
This episode was also directed by Mira Manone.
All right.
Whose work I'm not familiar with, but I thought it was pretty good direction here in this episode. So we'll talk about that. So Jesse, what's your general thoughts on Together?
It was so good to be together. Linda and Chris and Erica spent the weekend with us. Erica had her birthday, and so we kind of were celebrating. So they came over and spent the day with Linda Friday, and then spent the night Friday night, and then Saturday night. And so everyone was going to bed Friday night, and I said, okay, well, I'll just really quick watch the Titans episode. And I really like this one. In fact, I think it is probably the best episode so far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
Okay, and I know a lot of fans. I gauged the Twitter reactions because I wanted to know what everybody else thinks, and they seem pretty positive toward this episode. So I think Titans, despite having such a horrible rollout, promotion-wise, has hopefully starting to get some positive word of mouth. So we'll see.
And so you seem surprised. What were you thinking?
I don't say it was surprised. I was just I thought it was as good. I don't think it was an exceptional episode, but I don't think it was poor by any means. I thought it was a very enjoyable episode, which hopefully should be reflected in my rating. So I enjoyed it. It was great finally to see the Titans characters. Here we are, episode 5, and they're finally starting to really interact.
Okay.
And we start to see Dick Grayson, Robin, actually becoming a leader.
Yes.
We get some little hints of that, which we'll talk about when we get into our topics. But that was very nice to see. And it makes perfect sense that Dick would be the organizer of the group to get everybody on track where they need to be. And some good stuff with the nuclear family once again. Maybe we've seen the last of them, but we'll talk about that more in detail. And I think overall it was another solid episode for Titans. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Good.
And of course we had the big debut of Jason Todd, which we have to talk about.
Yeah, that was a really good ending. I think that might have been why it was a really good episode, and then that kind of ending was really a nice, just
cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger,
Yeah, because obviously we didn't get to see much of Jason, but we got a good tease, and next week's episode looks even more promising. So We'll see. All right, so we're going to talk about. Let me run it down first before we get into our main topics. Let's just talk about a couple of new cast members in this episode. First, while we're on the subject of Jason Todd, might as well talk about Curran Walters, who plays Jason Todd. The very first time we've actually got to see Jason in live action.
Yes. And
so kind of a big deal if you're a Batman fan or a Red Hood Jason Todd fan. He's primarily known for some kind of like younger audience type programs. He played a character named Mac on Tyler Perry's Too Close to Home, and he was on Disney's Girl Meets World, that kind of sequel to Boy Meets World, and so that's primarily where if you're a younger viewer, you probably saw him before. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Not me, not so much. This is my first introduction to Curran Walters. And then we had an actor – oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him. Of course, we did not see much of him. We got see some action items, some fight scenes, and then gone.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
more of like a cameo appearance, really,
Right.
so far in this episode. Zach Smadou, I guess, or Smadou, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. He plays Nuclear Stepdad
Yeah.
in this episode. He's been on episodes of Shadowhunters, The Mortal Instruments, and he was on the very short-lived Minority Report TV series.
Mm-hmm.
If that's where you may have seen him before, if you happen to watch those programs.
Okay.
But otherwise, we get the return of Melody Johnson as Nuclear Mom, Jenny Ross as Nuclear Sis, Logan Thompson as Nuclear Biff, and Reed Birney as the Messenger, a.k.a. Dr. Adamson.
Yeah.
Presumably in this final appearance. We'll see. Because it's comic books, even though you think they're dead, they're not dead,
Right.
or eventually they could turn up at any moment. So that's pretty much our cast for this episode. So we might as well dive right into our main topic right off the bat.
Okay.
Our first topic, come together right now over me. That, of course, is the classic Beatles song from back in the day, which recently got some popularity because of the Justice League movie.
Yes.
There was a cover of that. And I want to talk about the Titans, who are finally together at last here in episode 5 of Titans. And I want to get your thoughts on finally getting the team together, their integration, and their growing character dynamics with one another. So what did you think about the Titans, Jesse?
So I was really glad to see them back, finally together.
Right.
My heart broke that Dick had to trade in the Porsche
right.
so that everyone could fit.
Well, that car dealership's pretty empty, like unattended right now. You could probably go get it back if you really wanted to. It's not like he hasn't stolen the car before.
Exactly. I really the training sequence where for us to get together,
want everybody show us your powers. Show me what you can do.
And I was a little disappointed. Well, let's go through each one. So
wait. If you want to run that sequence down, let's just run it down in order.
Yeah. So
since you brought it up, so first, they have this training exercise in this barn that Dick found somewhere, and he asks Starfire to go first, Corey.
Yeah.
And she seems pretty confident, and she talks about how her powers come from the sun and that she can absorb its power and direct it. But she also hints that, well, hey, I'm not that great at night. So what did you think about that change to Starfire's character from the comics? That she's more like she can use her powers in the day but not the nighttime.
Kind of the opposite of Shadowlass from the Legionnaires.
No, I was thinking Night Girl from the Legion of Substitute Heroes, who could only use her powers at night.
Yeah, that is who I meant too. I was forgetting.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it's a nice. I also thought it was interesting that she drained part of her battery just to show Dick what they were doing. The other team members.
Right.
And so you have to go. How often do you let her use her powers in training? And then what if an emergency happens right afterwards? We're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So I like that. I liked I like that she was not very good at controlling it.
Yeah.
Like, she had the target and she missed it. But
yeah, she seemed rather confident until she missed her intended target.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I guess I need some more practice or something.
Well, the old cliche almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
I guess we can also say plasma blast from an alien princess. It was close enough. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. I think it's interesting, with this limitation. I think this was intentional to try to maybe perhaps save on the CGI budget a little, or not make Corey so powerful to kind of give her some limits. So they decided to take away her powers at night. And I think it's kind of interesting because currently they're in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And the time of year that this was apparently filmed was either like, I want to say very early spring or late fall. So if you're at all familiar with Midwest weather like I am, you know that it's pretty much overcast a lot of the time during those periods of the year. And so if she's looking for sun, hanging out in the Midwest in that time of year is probably not the best way to do it.
Yeah, I thought that was an.
You should go to Florida or California, somewhere in
and
there.
And they left it enough.
Hawaii.
Yeah, they left it clear enough that if she just sometimes she can have problems. So they've left it where if they end up needing her to play it, to shoot at night, that they've set the expectation that sometimes it can happen. So I'm glad that was there. I thought it was really good. I was we continue to see her in the horrible clothes.
Yes.
But
and there's still no explanation about why she can't just go get some new clothes. She's got the money.
Yeah,
she's throwing $100 bills out like it's going out of style.
Yes, but that's my only nitpick with that is I would like, come on, guys,
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So Beast Boy is next, Garfield, and he needs a little prodding from Dick Grayson to transform. I guess he's a little uncomfortable shape-shifting because, of course, he has to go get naked.
Yes.
And hopefully they figure out at some point how to get him some kind of suit so he doesn't have to, like, run off and take his clothes off and come back.
Yeah, and
because that's getting kind of old.
It is, and I don't understand. Can he only become a tiger?
Well, at the moment, it seems like, yeah. Because he says, well, he said that that's his preference.
Yeah.
But like, it's like almost like the show is like, well, we've only have enough money for the CGI tiger we created.
Yeah,
we don't want to spend any more money on any other animals.
Yeah, that's exactly the feeling I got. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. How about throwing the budget a couple more bucks so we can see at least one more animal now and then?
And also, he hasn't seemed to be able to do much when he becomes a tiger and okay.
Yeah, you're a tiger. Like, all I can do is, like, maybe intimidate people who are afraid of tigers.
Yeah.
And one of the things I thought was interesting is that Dick Grayson kind of, like, is a little skittish after he changes into a tiger, which makes absolutely no sense because, remember, Dick grew up in the circus. He should have been around tigers all the time.
Really good point.
Right?
Yeah,
I thought that was rather odd. It was like, well, dude, you should be perfectly cool with tigers.
Yeah.
Of anybody. And it's like if you worked at the zoo or something, you would be comfortable with tigers. So no big deal. So I just thought that was really odd. Anyway,
I agree.
But yeah, Gar talks about how he doesn't bite anybody, or he's never eaten anybody, of course. And so all he can do is really intimidate, or maybe. Well, we got to see him kind of maul one of the nuclear family in this episode, so
yeah, I guess
he does do something in his tiger form. So he can at least maul people, I guess. Rachel's next, Raven, and she's understandably hesitant, knowing exactly what we know about her and her powers.
Yeah,
she's worried that she may hurt everybody else. But Dick shows some confidence in her. He's like, I believe in you. I believe you can control this. So she unleashes her, what I'm presuming eventually will be her soul self. But right now it's just this kind of inky black goo.
It reminds me of Shade from Starman.
Yes.
Great comic books.
Yeah, that's a great comparison, the Shade. Yeah. And that kind of ebony energy.
Yeah.
And she's apparently unable to bring it back in, even though Dick says, like, you might want to rein that in now. Mm-hmm. And Corey ends up using her powers on that black goo. And interestingly, they kind of revealed that doing so actually hurts her.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that light of, battling against the darkness. And apparently, one of Raven's weaknesses is light, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And then we got the well, show us what you can do, and
To Dick Grayson, yeah, they kind of turned it back on him.
And he's kind of,
Well, he's like, my power is to keep you alive.
Yeah, and that was very nice. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping he would show some acrobatics or something, just to kind of show. But the reason why...
Yeah. I think they wanted to save it for the big reveal later.
Exactly why. And I can't disagree with the way the payoff of seeing Robin come in the fight was really great. And I love...
It was a much better payoff.
And then I love the excitement of, it's Robin. Look, it's Robin.
Yeah.
So much
Beast Boy geeking over Robin was pretty funny to watch.
So much for the secret identity of the mask protecting your identity. Like, oh, I wonder who this person could be.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of like obvious.
Yes, it is. That's what I was
considering how many there was only okay, nobody else knows we're here but the nuclear family.
Right.
So it has to be him logically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved I thought the fighting scenes were incredibly well done.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of action. There's been discussion of Daredevil has had some amazing fight scenes, and I thought this one just great. Just when Dick's in his hotel room and he's using his briefcase that has his suit in there as a shield and just working. I really like this a lot.
Yeah, it did. And it makes sense because with Dick Grayson, because of his training under Batman, a good fighter knows to use their surroundings.
Yes.
Whatever's available in their fight. And so he's using the suitcase as he's kind of a shield, and then also uses it as an offensive weapon.
Right.
Which I thought was good.
Yeah, I did too.
And I agree that the fight choreography is very kind of reminiscent of Daredevil a little bit. I don't think it's as good as Daredevil's, but I think it's on that same track, which is definitely a good thing. Now, my only problem was that the scenes are too darkly lit, that you can't really – it's hard for you to really get a handle on what's going on. I mean, if you're going to show the action, why are you covering it up in all these shadows? Show the action. Show what – you've got this great fight choreography. Why not, showcase it a little better?
Yeah.
And I get that they wanted to have them in the dark because it makes more sense that the nuclear family would turn the lights off to make it harder for them to fight, the Titans harder to fight. But ultimately, they're fighting anyway, so turning the lights off was just kind of useless.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I was okay with it. I thought we got to see a fair amount in the hotel room. And then when they're out in the parking lot, I thought the dark worked, especially with, Robin kind of showing up. And Corey couldn't do this damn night.
And it's at night. I understood that once they were outside. But just in the inside, in the hotel, I thought that there should have been some more lighting.
I can see that, yeah.
Just a little bit to kind of get a better handle on what's going on. I think it would have been unless you have really good vision, you might have had some problems following some of the fight choreography. Especially there was that one scene, quick segment where Nuclear Sis is using this kind of cable.
Yes.
And I thought that was a little hard to follow. About what was going on there.
I could see that.
So, but again, it's very minor. I think in general, though, my criticism is that the show is too darkly lit. I think it could be a little brighter.
I can't disagree with you totally. And I don't know if it's because, it's got to be a style choice, or is it because
the filters, maybe video
Yeah.
filters, but
You know,
try to get that Zack Snyder grittiness look.
yeah, and I wonder if you have to do less worrying about the stunt people not looking exactly like the characters
Oh,
because it's so dark.
you think it was good to hide the stunt people a little better?
Yeah,
Maybe
could
that's
be.
possible.
Yeah.
That's I think that's a fair point. All right. Anything else about the Titans we want to talk about before we move on to topic number 2?
Um, I like the scene where Dick has the clue of
Yeah.
where to go, and he assures Rachel, "I'm gonna come back."
Right.
I thought that was a better scene. I I kind of would have liked it if he brought everyone, but I understand the whole premise of doing this. But he was very, very much more honest than he's been.
Yeah.
And so I liked that. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think there was some development in his character in that
Yeah.
regard. And he makes a point of telling Corey, hey, keep them safe.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was relying on Corey to protect Gar and Rachel.
Yes.
And while he went off and tried to deal with this himself.
Right.
So because he is a police officer after all. So it's, it's his job legally.
Yeah.
So, so he would be much better off by himself, I think, at this point, or at least doing this particular thing.
I agree.
And so we'll see. And it also keeps the others safe. So I kind of see why he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to topic number 2.
Okay.
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. Which, of course, if you're a 70s music fan, you may remember from the Tony Orlando and Dawn show. The singers Tony Orlando and Dawn, who came up with that little 70s chestnut back in the day. And this, obviously, I want to talk about the nuclear family. And the nuclear family gets a new dad in this episode.
Yes, they do.
And then they end up all dead at the end of the episode. So I want to talk about the nuclear family, and also I want to talk about Dr. Adamson, the messenger, in this segment.
Yeah. So I think they've been good villains. And so I like seeing the new dad.
Yeah.
I liked how they cut off showing the guy getting brainwashed.
Yeah, we got a little more backstory of how that process happens.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's, "Hey kids, you ready?"
Yep.
And so I thought that was really well done. And I was happy to see it. The great fight scenes, as I said. I love their planning to, taking down the Titans.
Yeah. They were very methodical and organized, which is one of the reasons why Dick wants everybody to start training.
Yeah, and I was I guess I shouldn't be surprised because they're just jerks. But, they probably could have asked the guy who run the car dealership, just give me more information, and it might have, they didn't have to kill him. But, of course, that's part of their fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, they didn't go for the more gratuitous violence shot when they killed him.
No.
Which was a nice surprise. It's like, wow, hey, we showed some restraint as far as the violence in this episode.
They did.
Progress. Yeah. It was more menacing than anything else. And there was that little bit, which I thought was kind of funny, when after they got out of the car dealership, where Nuclear Sis is kind of looking at her collar and she notices some blood on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, he's ruined my shirt or whatever. And then Nuclear Mom takes out the Tide pen and tries to clean up the blood stains with a Tide pen, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I really did.
Yeah, and then obviously they return later in the episode to attack the Titans, which we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They end up getting captured, so the Titans actually win in their first outing together, and they tie them up. They're not really giving much as way of information, and so they kind of basically keep them tied up while Dick goes off to Chicago to talk to Dr. Adamson.
Yes.
So he gets there. He's given this butterscotch by that creepy old lady from before.
Yeah. Did that worry you a little bit?
It did, because it seemed like, remember that we were warned in the previous episode, hey, don't eat the butterscotch.
Yes.
So I was worried that he was going to eat the butterscotch, but apparently he didn't.
I was thinking the exact same thing, and I'm like,
did they just drop that?
Or I guess the thought is he isn't the kind of guy who will randomly eat a piece of candy that some stranger gives him.
Yeah.
But I was very worried. I was like, oh no, don't eat it, Bruce, don't eat it, Dick.
Yeah, apparently Dick listened to Bruce that day about don't take any candy from strangers.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he took the candy politely, but he didn't eat it. So
right, yes.
So well done, Robin. Good job.
I also really loved very creepy the egg that had an embryo in it.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Now we got kind of a hint that Dr. Adamson wasn't human.
Yes.
Because he was like, okay, he's going to eat a chicken embryo.
Well,
or is he just really, really disturbed?
I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
But it is considered a delicacy or a fun food in Manila.
Yeah.
And
I'm guessing you looked this up.
No, I ate one.
Oh, you did?
When I was
Well, then maybe you're not human.
Exactly. Yeah.
How'd that go over?
Well, it was
because you eating a chicken embryo. This is something I want to know more about.
So it's called a balut, B-A-L-U-T.
Okay.
And what it is they boil it.
Okay.
While it's usually a duck or something that's just in there. There's still the bird is partially
formed.
Developed. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so was there like crunchy bones or?
Yes, it was. And the reason I ate it is the guy who ran the Manila office for the company I worked for talked about, when people come over from America, should they eat the balut? And if you do, he says, we should get a plaque on the wall, and you should be a place of honor if you eat the balut. So there is actually a video on the internet of me eating the balut.
That's awesome.
So
very well done, you. You're a much braver soul than I am.
Yes.
All right.
But I thought that was very
creepy.
Very creepy.
Yeah, he just kind of like whisks that embryo into oblivion, mixing it up. And so I'm sure it wasn't like overly crunchy because he just kind of like destroyed that thing with a whisk.
Yeah. The other thing that I really liked was the whole Detective Grayson, we have a minute to get out of here or we're all going to be dead. And he kept counting out the seconds and kept counting out the seconds. And then, sure enough, they showed up. That was – and it's always fun to see any of the Titans fight against, the odds where they're fighting a big crowd. It's probably not realistic that they would hold themselves so well, but it's always fun to watch. And then we've got the surprise cavalry showing up at the last minute.
Right. Now, yeah, Dick doesn't get much information from Adamson apart from he asks if the organization that Adamson works for is Rachel's father and if he's still looking for her.
Yeah.
And then Adamson replies, quote, that he could say that.
Yeah.
So presumably, yes, that's the case. Or just that he's working for people that, as we postulated, if this is in fact, of course, Trigon that we're talking about here, that maybe it's the cult trying to bring Trigon over to this dimension.
Yeah.
So that's my guess on that.
I think so.
You talked about that all of a sudden we get this tactical team showing up.
Right.
Dick gets overwhelmed by numbers.
Right.
I don't think it's any fault of his. It's just that he's just got too many guys in a confined space.
Mm-hmm.
And they're obviously very armed and armored, and they're, they just basically beat him down. And then all of a sudden we get that smoke bomb.
Yeah.
And
which is similar because that's what when Dick hit the nuclear family,
right.
Out in the parking lot. That's a signature move, I guess, for Robbins.
Well, yeah, to kind of disorient your opponent.
Right.
And to kind of make a cool entrance because, hey, you get to emerge from the smoke all cool and badass.
Absolutely.
And this time, though, it's the other Robin, the second Robin, Jason Todd. And Jason actually seems glad to meet Dick Grayson, finally. Apparently they've never met before. And he extends his hand outward at the end of the episode. But Dick's just kind of like, okay, WTF, dude, what's going on here? So what did you think about Dick's reaction to seeing Jason Todd for the first time?
He looked confused.
Understandably.
And you would think that he would have heard that there was a new Robin. And maybe he does know that. Maybe we'll see next episode he's more shocked that the guy shows up. Than going, what? There's a new Robin?
Yeah. I've been replaced. And maybe this is, of course, the thing that drives Dick to take on a new identity of Nightwing, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah.
So fingers crossed, everybody, because, we need to see Robin or Nightwing by the end of this season. Easy. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was cool. And obviously we're going to get more with Jason Todd next episode.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing how these two interact and discuss Batman, because there's going to be a Batman discussion.
It's got to be. I wonder if we're going to be – are we going to – because so far –
right.
Well, no, it hasn't been that. I was going to say if they name the episode after the main character, you kind of – it's focused on them.
Right.
So I don't know if I just wonder because next week's episode, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll talk about that when we talk about it next on Titan Talk. All right. Anything else about the nuclear family and Dr. Adamson?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, we're left off with the nuclear family getting their heads blown off.
Yeah.
And because Dr. Adamson pushes that ominous plunger device that he's had in his hand for so long, and detonates them. So have we? Do you think we've seen the last of the nuclear family, at least for a while?
Well, you notice Nuclear Mom said time for a nap, right? Or it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they are, because they looked at least partially biological the way the blood showed up, which by the way, I may be stealing one of your favorite lines, but Corey going, Dick's going to blame me.
Yeah.
That was just so.
That was good. Yeah.
Yep,
that was a good moment that, she just walks in and is like, oh, he's going to blame me for this.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. It's kind of weird that, it's like almost like they have a human, I think it's more like they're bionic than actual androids, like like they were in the comics. Like they've been augmented with technology, and they have this kind of this solution that they take.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what they are. If they're kind of like bionic hybrids, or they're just genetically modified because of this solution they take. And now the thing is, though, Dr. Adamson is dead, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So if he's the one who brought Stepdad in, if Adamson is off the table, maybe we won't see them again.
Well, and because I kind of get the feeling, and this is just pure speculation, but almost their consciousness, their program is downloaded into a new
server or something.
Bionic
maybe they're
body.
in the cloud.
And so that's why when she says time to go to sleep, is that later when they need them again, they will have new bionic shells, and they'll have their consciousness in there. I don't know, but I thought
it's always possible. We obviously, because again, this is comics.
Yeah.
We could always see them again down the road. I just wonder if we're going to see them again for this season.
I don't think this season, because we're running out of episodes.
Right, exactly. That's why I think that.
Yeah, but I thought they are almost unbeatable because
you can't get rid of them permanently.
Yeah, and you just also like when the Robin Star throwing star, she just pulls it out. Be careful with your toys.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem, no matter how much you hit them, they just keep bouncing back. And in fact, they didn't look that bad when they had them all 4 tied up. So I was wondering, like, how do you beat these guys?
It's like the Terminator, line where and they will not stop.
Right. And so to have them kind of get blown up by the messenger, the doctor, was like, oh, okay, well, that's one way to get rid of them. And which, of course, led to the funny line about, Dick blaming Corey.
Yeah. So I thought that was good.
I did too.
All right. Let's move on to topic number 3.
Okay.
I need your fingerprints all over me. And that was a song that was used in this episode by Keita Klein, and it's called Fingerprints. And I want to talk about Dick and Corey in this segment, because if you're a Dickory shipper, you got to be pretty happy about this development.
Yeah, and I kind of I liked how they handled it. I loved we're gonna talk, and they end up having they have sex.
Yes.
And then he's like, do we need to talk? She goes, what, about the sex? And he's like, okay, no, that's good.
Yeah.
And
I think she was kind of hoping he would talk about something else, but it didn't quite work out.
Yeah. And so
it's like maybe her plan was like, well, maybe if I get this guy laid, he'll finally open up.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite work, even with tequila.
Yeah.
But
I did like that line. Well, if you want to think, you buy whiskey,
Yeah.
And all the different things. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and so what did you think of the chemistry between the two? I know there's been some people thought it was great, some people thought that the chemistry wasn't quite there. So I want to get your thoughts on that chemistry between Brenton Thwaites and Anna Diop.
So I liked their chemistry. I thought they seemed to have an attraction together, the two actors. I think they sold it pretty well. So I thought it was nice. I like the easy, like her, the way oh, so you're Robin, and they're all excited about it. Just they're already very comfortable together.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really good. And I like the two characters together. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
How about you?
I thought it was okay. I don't have a problem with it. I think they do well enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure it's an issue.
Yeah.
The obviously the scene where they finally get down to business was actually pretty well done, and that was a very hot scene.
Yes.
And I like the fact that I like the scene earlier where Dick actually does open up a little to her.
Yeah.
We find out that Dick feels guilty for turning Gar and Rachel into weapons, and he makes this line like, "Once you see the world that way, you can't unsee it." And then she gets like Corey tries to get a little deeper, but Dick keeps evading her and says that, well, I had to walk away from what I did because hiding behind a mask gives him the license to do things.
And I was very glad to hear that because remember you and I had talked about his reluctance to put on the suit, and we had speculated that maybe like muscle memory, putting on that suit changes him to someone that he didn't like to be anymore, which is another reason why another step to the journey of Nightwing.
Yeah, I think maybe he'll feel differently once he gets a different suit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so I think that's why they're doing this. I don't agree with how they've handled some of it, but I get why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I guess Corey, she comes up with this plan, and I like the scene where she goes to the liquor store.
Yeah.
And Happy Times liquor store because, hey, of course, Happy Times. And she's looking for suggestions. And it's interesting that, like, she doesn't remember much, but she remembers booze.
Yeah.
And the owner points out, if you want, like, folks who want to party, they usually buy beer. Folks who want to think, they buy whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Corey kind of ponders this for a moment, and she's like, how about tequila? And the store owner's kind of like giving her the eye, going, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what'd you think about that?
Yeah, I really love that scene and the implication of they don't tell you what tequila does.
Right.
But then later with the payoff, you can see why. I thought it was really a good character moment.
Yes.
That once again, though, gosh, she's in that horrible jacket.
Yes.
But,
well, she does take it off.
Yeah, she does. They do take it off.
Although apparently she won't take off the boots because hey, she likes them on.
Yeah,
which
is
like
taking off your boots. No, I want to keep them on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the music that or the moment that meant.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, we're watching a nice little porn movie here. So I like that. I thought it was pretty funny. And afterwards, we talked about how she's kind of a little disappointed that he doesn't keep opening up to her.
Right.
So she made a little progress, but not enough that she wanted to make.
Right.
And it's like, here we are. It's just episode 5, so obviously we've got time to develop this. Mm-hmm. But there was obviously, I think, some actual forward progress on their relationship to each other.
Yeah, I did. I feel.
And they kind of got the will they or won't they out of the way right off the bat.
Yeah, and I was glad to see that.
Because some shows kind of drag it out for so long.
Too much.
Yeah, like on Castle or something.
Yeah.
Or
and I like the idea that
Moonlighting dragged it out a little too long.
Yes, they're both together.
Lois and Clark.
The team's together. We've got this really nice interactions. They're starting to build as a team. We're going to have the complications of Corey and Dick. You certainly can't say they're in a relationship. You can't even call them friends with benefits. They just did it for whatever reason. And I like the idea that neither one felt guilty or anything. It was just, do we need to talk about it? No. So I thought this was really well done.
I'm kind of wondering what it's going to mean for the future, because what happens between Dick and Corey when Dove returns?
Yeah.
or when Donna Troy shows up.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know what's going on with Dick and Donna Troy yet.
Yeah.
So Dick Grayson could find himself in some serious lady trouble
Well,
down the road.
Robin is a ladies' man.
Apparently so.
Mr. Grayson likes the ladies.
Everybody likes Dick. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Dick Grayson. Just pointing that out.
Yes.
All right. So anything else about Dick and Corey before we move on?
Nope. I think it was really well done.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite lines of the episode?
So I didn't have many, but I did have a couple. As I pull up my Word document that somehow got closed. I know you always have written.
See, everybody mocks me the fact that I print this stuff off, but hey, I don't have to worry about something closing unexpectedly on me.
Yes.
You mock me. That's when, haha.
Yeah.
Old school is the best school.
The flu turned him into a tiger. I love that line.
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, that was obviously Corey being a little skeptical of like how Gar got his powers.
And then the only other one I had is, Corey, and I don't remember the setup line, but it's like, it's usually never worth it when a guy takes his clothes off. And she goes, "What do you know? It was worth it."
Yeah, she's pretty amused by Gar in this episode. Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny. Let's see. I had this exchange between Dick, Rachel, and Gar early on where Dick's like, okay, all right, guys, listen up. We're all in one piece, more or less. We need to figure out where we stand and determine what's mission critical. Rachel's like, mission critical? And Gar replies, that a cop thing? Sounds like a cop thing.
Yes.
And then I like kind of one of Corey's kind of snarky comebacks where the Titans are showing off the powers, and they're like, if this wasn't a drill, we'd all be dead by now.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, that was good. Let's see, the Corey and Dick where they're talking, she says, that combat training you were talking about, was it military? And Dick replies, more of a civilian contractor type thing. And Corey says, and you walked away from it? Dick replies, I had to. When you hide behind a mask for so long, it starts to give you a license to do things. It was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
So I thought that was rather insightful. Nuclear Mom had a good line at the end after their battle in the hotel parking lot. She says, well, look at the mess we've made.
Yeah.
Which I thought was rather funny.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, you had Gar and this after Gar walks up to Dick Grayson after finding out that he's Robin. And he goes, so, Batman, you know him? Rachel replies, of course he knows Batman. Gar says, are we going to see him? I'd really like to meet Batman.
Yeah.
And Dick goes, no, you're not.
I love that. Of course you want to meet Batman.
Now, is that like a double meaning that Dick's telling Gar, but also telling the audience, like, no, you're not going to see Batman on this show?
I did not picture that, but I think, yes, that could absolutely be that.
Yeah, and then lastly, of course, I had Corey's classic line after seeing the nuclear family's heads exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, Dick's going to think I did it.
Yeah, I love that.
That was funny. All right, any other lines of this episode you liked?
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay, what's your rating for this one?
I give it 9 out of 10 shots of tequila.
Good. Excellent. You really liked this episode.
I did. I really did.
This was your favorite of the season so far.
Yes, so far, yes, it is. I think because it felt like we made good time on our journey on the story.
Yeah. We're finally starting to see some payoffs.
Yeah, and the character interaction was good. The action sequence were nice. It just truly was just a really nice episode that had a lot of payoff. So really good.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're finally getting some. There's been a lot of setup, and so it's
Yeah,
great that we're finally getting some payoffs on some things.
totally agree.
Um, I give this one. I'm not far behind you. I give it 8.5 out of 10. Tide pens for cleaning bloodstains.
Ooh, nice. I like that one.
Because nuclear mom with a Tide pen for the win.
Yes.
All right, it was going to be either that or embryonic eggs,
Yeah.
but we do have some Tell It to Titan talk this time.
Yay.
If I can get my phone here to work. All right. Once again from DJ Nick in Milan, Italy.
Yay, Nick.
Hey, DJ Nick. So hello out there, all the way out there in Italy. And he goes, "Hey guys, just finished watching Doom Patrol, and here are my thoughts. As far as the group goes, they give me a Guardians of the Galaxy meets Tim Burton vibe, which is perfect for the show, and I thought all the characters were well done. Though some may complain they don't reflect their comics counterparts. They are very well suited for the show. Starfire has yet to change her clothes unless she has a closet full of identical dresses. I'm going with that theory for now, LOL.
Okay.
Really enjoyed Ryan Potter's portrayal of Beast Boy, though not the upbeat character people have gotten to know in the animated series. I think he and Raven have great chemistry, and though it will be a shame to see Bruno Bashir go in favor of Timothy Dalton as the chief, I'm sure Mr. Bond will play the character splendidly, seeing his recent forays in Penny Dreadful. I totally agree. I think Timothy Dalton personally is a major upgrade for the chief over Bruno Bashir. He's great. And DJ Nick continues, that said, all around a great episode, and it does seem the writers want to lean toward the darker side of things, as seen in Gotham, hence my Burton-esque reference. Keep up the great work, you two, and catch you soon. Ciao, DJ Nick.
Yeah,
So ciao to you as well, DJ
yes,
Nick.
absolutely. And he and I have exchanged a few things, and he seems on board with joining us after the season as a kind of wrap up. So I told him that would be good.
I think that's going to work really well, and I'm really looking forward to talking with DJ Nick once we get it fully coordinated. So
yeah,
glad to see he's still interested. And thank you, Nick, for writing in. It's great to have some feedback that's not our own.
Yeah, and I do feel like Gar does have does seem to have enough of a positive kind of upbeat spin. Now, I have not watched the
animated series
animated enough to know exactly what's available. But yes,
well,
it's
geared more towards kids, so he's like the wacky comic relief character, and I think he's pretty upbeat for what we've seen so far. I mean, I think there's some major backstory. Of course, he's going to have some drama because he's lost his parents.
Yeah.
And now he's got like green hair and turns into a green tiger. So
yeah,
there's obviously some feelings, and he also feels like he seems like he needs to connect with people.
Yes, I agree.
So hopefully we'll get some more development with Beast Boy.
Good.
All right. So if you want to be like DJ Nick, and who doesn't, why don't you email us just like Nick did, TitanTalkCast@gmail.com. That's TitanTalkCast@gmail.com. And we'd love to get your feedback. We'll be more than happy to read it here if you're so inclined. Let us know how we're doing or what you think of the Titan series. We definitely would love to hear your thoughts on Titans and what your hopes are for the show. And anything else you happen to be thinking. So please do that. Otherwise, you can reach us on Facebook at Titan Talk, the Titans Podcast, or you can reach us on the Twitter machine at Titan Talk Cast. So reach us there at Titan Talk Cast. And please like us and follow us there because obviously we're going to post news of any new episodes, Titans information that we happen to want to pass along, and any other things that we think would be cool to all of you listeners out there. So please like us and follow us there if you're not already. If you are, thank you. We definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And you can also go on to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us. We definitely appreciate that as well, because that helps people find us. So we obviously want to keep growing Titan Talk and reach even farther than Milan, Italy, if possible. So
yes, and we still don't have a lot of reviews on iTunes, so this would be really helpful if you went there
yeah,
and gave it to us.
yeah,
Good.
just give us your honest opinion. Hopefully
Yeah.
you're enjoying. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and let us know what you think, because we're trying to do um, what we can to try to help enjoy, entertain you, and also like share our enjoyment of Titans, and we want to help build this experience for everybody, make it a positive one.
Absolutely.
All right. So next time on Titan Talk, we're going to talk about Jason Todd, the sixth episode of Titans, as we start heading on the back half of the season. And obviously, this is going to be a major character episode for Dick Grayson, and it's going to be good because we're finally going to see Dick Grayson and Jason Todd interacting for the very first time ever in live action. And how
Yeah.
awesome is that?
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
This
I
is
think
something
this
a
will be
lot of
great.
Batman fans have been wanting for a long time
Yeah,
to
this
see.
is great.
So very cool. Finally getting it. It's going to happen. And looking forward to this is probably as much as I was Doom Patrol. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Jesse, where can they reach you on the interwebs?
Well, I can be reached at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter. I am on Facebook, Jesse Jackson, Louisville, Texas. You can hear me discuss Doctor Who with my wonderful co-host
yes.
Charles and Karen Lindsay. That comes from this great network.
I hear Next Stop Everywhere is a great podcast. Just saying.
It is a great podcast, and we're discussing a wonderful season of Doctor Who. I am also on Set Listing Bruce, the Bruce Springsteen podcast, where I discuss Bruce Springsteen fandom with fans of the boss from around the world.
Yeah.
And so, please check that out. And Charles, where can they hear you and find you on the web?
Well, of course, they can hear me, of course, at the aforementioned Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast, or my other podcasts that I do for Southgate Media, including Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast, and of course, my other podcast, the Phantom Zone podcast that I do with Karen Lindsay, friend of the show. So you can definitely reach us there. Or you can reach me on Twitter at Charles Skaggs, or Instagram at Charles Skaggs. Facebook, of course, at Charles Skaggs in Hilliard, Ohio. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the stuff we talk about here on Titan Talk, or any of the other upcoming DC New Universe series. We'll be setting those up as well as the casting and episode information comes in. News of any other comic book, sci-fi, TV, movie show stuff. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, sci-fi, of course, and just generally the stuff that I'm interested in. So if you want to please check out Damn Good Coffee and Hot, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And hope you enjoy it. All right. So that's it. I think right now, obviously, we're going to talk about Jason Todd next week. And anything else before we head out, Jesse?
No, I'm excited about it. And so thank you, listeners. Thank you, Charles. We will talk to you soon.
Yep. We'll see you next time right here on Titan Talk, the Titans podcast. Bye, everybody.